Marauders, welcome back to the channel. ADV Bike City here, isn't it? What's going on with this Honda apparel? Well, let's take a look. I asked Harley Davidson for a Pan America to do a comparison, Harley Davidson corporate, for a Pan American, and the offer is still open for a Pan American adventure bike, Harley Davidson adventure bike, for a couple months to do a comparison between my 2023 Ducati Multistrada V4 Rally. That's roughly 170 horsepower. That's their top of the line adventure bike, full-size adventure bike. And also with my, which I think may be the best mid-size adventure bike, my 2024 Husqvarna Norden 901 Expedition, 105 horsepower. And my friend Dan at Hamburg Honda, which is the largest Honda motorsports dealer in New York State, gladly told me to take his Africa Twin DCT, 2024 Africa Twin DCT transmission for a couple days to do videos. He knows I'm doing videos on it. I only ride it to do videos. And he stepped up to the plate and said, Peter, we'd love to have you take the bike and do a video on it, multiple videos on it, like I did the Can-Am Spider. And wow, that's a great offer he gave me. Harley Davidson, the offer is still open, also to any other manufacturers. Now, standing here, we'll do a quick comparison on the bikes. The Africa Twin is roughly 1,050 cc's, 100 horsepower. Husqvarna is, I believe, about 889 cc's. The Ducati is just over 1,000 cc's. I want to say 1,100, maybe 1,180 on the Ducati. Big difference. Probably the best V4 engine on the market is in the Ducati. 170 horsepower. Not a lot of torque. Not a lot of torque. The Husqvarna Norden has a parallel twin, 285-degree crankshaft, which is the expensive crankshaft to make. Ton of torque. The Honda sits in the middle at 100 horsepower, has more cc's than the Husqvarna Norden. About the same, maybe a little less than the Ducati, has much less horsepower, does have plenty of torque. Does have plenty of torque. Weight, let's talk weight. The way I have that Ducati Multistrada set up is probably, it's about 600 pounds. The Honda Africa Twin is about 520 some pounds. The Husqvarna Norden, it's pretty much stock. I've only added foot pegs on it. Husqvarna Norden comes in at about 500 pounds, maybe 510 pounds roughly. People, you can correct me in the comments, but I think that's the rough weight. So the Honda, again, it has no panniers on it. It has no center stand. Both the Husqvarna and the Ducati have center stands. They also come with panniers that, even though they're not the best panniers on the Norden, has it. The Ducati came with the aluminum side panniers, not the back, the center pannier on the top. But this is relatively, for a full-size adventure bike, this is a good weight. And I believe, I'm not going to give you the height of the seats, but I can tell you sitting on it, it is the most comfortable adventure bike to sit on. It does, once you sit on that seat and stand it up, it does have the lowest seat. Well, let's talk about suspension before we get to cost. The Ducati has a fully live suspension. It's phenomenal. It's an electronic suspension, class leading. BMW now has that. They've caught up to Ducati. The suspension is fantastic. The Norden does not have an electronic suspension, but probably because it shares the same suspension with the 890 KTM 890 Adventure, has an amazing suspension for on and off road. But the Africa Twin has a semi-active suspension, which is pretty darn nice. Really nice suspension. Okay? Transmission, 6-speed quick shifter on the Ducati, comes with it. Husqvarna has a 6-speed quick shifter. Well, I think on the Expedition it comes with it. On the standard Husqvarna you have to pay for it, but it has a quick shifter. The Honda Africa Twin has a DCT automatic shift transmission, just like my Honda side-by-side Talon. And it actually, at idle, sounds like my Talon engine and transmission. It's really an Africa Twin engine in my Talon. Dual clutch transmission. If I remember right from the Goldwing, odd gears are on one side of the clutch, even gears are on the other, and it slaps back and forth changing gears. You can do it in automatic mode, drive, sport mode, which is automatic, but it holds out the gear a little longer, and then manual, where you can shift it with buttons on the stick shift to shift it. Those are the biggest differences of the motorcycles. Cost. These bikes are probably within $1,500 to $2,000 of each other. I want to say $17,000, $18,000, maybe $17,000 for the Husqvarna. I could be a little off on that. The Ducati Bing, sure, it's got 170 horsepower, an amazing bike. It's really, in my opinion, a sport tour is what I use it for. It's almost double the cost. Not quite double the cost of each of these bikes. So the Honda reliability across the board, that's a tough one. We know Husqvarna and KTM, that they sometimes struggle with that. I've had issues with mine, and my dealer and the manufacturer have stepped up. They've been excellent, not major issues, but issues. Ducati, since Audi had purchased them, they've really worked on quality. They've come a long way. My dealer, nothing issues. Dealer has been all over it, been fantastic. But number one in reliability among all motorcycle brands is without a doubt Honda. Class leading. Class leading is the Honda. I think I have to drive the Honda and take you along for the ride. I think we got to go for a ride. I do have a separate video of this motorcycle, of me riding the Honda Africa Twin on the highway. I'm going to do a short video on the TFT screen on the motorcycle. This is going to be a ride video with a long intro. Hope you stick around for it. And then I'm going to do a video, probably riding it back to the dealer on my summary on the bike, my final thoughts on it. So probably 3-4 videos in this series. My brother, whose first motorcycles both were Hondas, a 65 Honda CB160 and then a 77 Honda CB750F, great motorcycle. He just went crazy over this. By the way, I will tell you, I think the Honda has the best exhaust sound out of all three. Okay, we got a camera rolling. This is a polling center. So the emergency brake's on. That's how you turn it on. So I'm going to put it in gear, drive, with this button here, drive. And if I hit that twice, it goes into sport mode. You can see it there, sport mode. But I'm going to leave it in just standard drive. This is manual, where I have to shift the gears over here, plus or minus over here. So let's leave it in drive. I'm sorry. We'll leave it in drive. This will turn the cruise control on. You guys know I like that. And we're ready to go. And I'm going to tell you, I have to tell you, all of you, something. My next motorcycle is going to be an automatic shift, because it, and I have friends, and even I felt at times, a motorcycle with an automatic transmission, you know, gee whiz, Peter, that's like a giant scooter. That's for beginner riders. That's for people that don't know what they're doing, that don't have any talent in riding. Basically for numbskulls. Who needs an electric shift? A purist. Oh, I like the shift. I like to fill the gears. Well, you can do that on most of these new automatic shift motorcycles. You can fill the gears. You can, let me downshift. it can downshift as well, if not better, than a quick shifter. And I'm upshifting now. So you can do all those things with an automatic. Everyone that I've seen, you can do all those things with an automatic shift motorcycle. And I put the cruise control on. Everything you can do on a normal shift motorcycle, you can do on an automatic shift motorcycle. You really can. What I found the difficulty is slow speed maneuvering, is you can't get in the friction zone on the clutch. You know, that where the clutch is engaging, and yet it's still slipping a little bit, where you can load on the power. You can't do that necessarily with an automatic shift motorcycle that does not have any type of clutch at all. I'm not sure how the Honda E-Shift works in that regards. I think you can do it on that, actually. That might be the next bike I take. But on a dual clutch or BMW ATA, I think it's called automatic transmission assist, it has no clutch, you can't do that. That's difficult. When on an automatic shift bike, it just lets you focus on the scenery, on your riding position, being more alert when you're riding. You can do all those things better on an automatic shift bike. Maybe you can't race as well. On automatic shift bike, for me, it's just more in this very windy day. You see the flag? It's just more enjoyable on an automatic shift bike. It reminds me of the Can-Am Spyder. Elegant and demure. Elegant and demure. Now, one thing I didn't mention in my intro to this video is this motorcycle does not have adaptive cruise control or blind spot awareness like the Ducati. Do you need it on all motorcycles? Most people don't. I do like having it. But right now I'm in drive. It's shifting automatically. It's very responsive, but I could have downshifted manually for that. I could have clicked, used my left thumb, so I downshifted with my left thumb, and I'm ready in passing gear. Now I can upshift with my right thumb, and I'm back in 6th gear. So you can do all of that in manual drive mode, and if I want, I can put it in sport mode, and in sport mode then it responds a little faster on the downshifts. It's a little faster, it holds the gear a little longer, and it makes it very responsive. Having Apple CarPlay on this is rich to navigate from your phone, and I bet you the more I use this bike, the faster everything will sync up on the motorcycle when I want to use it. I'm sure it will sync up much faster. And again, it's just nice. I'm using my foot brake, actually, slowing down. Just so nice. Reminds me, my Honda Talon is just this good. Just this good. It's just so nice. I gotta remember these tires are brand new. The Honda Talon is just this good. Just this good. It's just, the shift is amazing. Now I'm in sport mode. Well, man, the wind's knocking me around a little bit. Just beautiful. Beautiful motorcycle. Now let's see if I can get back to the display. Oh boy, this is nice. Oh man. Okay, let's get out of that. I really like that. I really would like to split the screen. Okay, let's go up here. Trail brake a little bit. Oh God, come on guys. I'm a good rider. I am not a great rider. This makes me feel better than I am. I mean, just a downshift automatically where I don't have to do it. Very, very nice. That screen is beautiful. Be interesting to see how it comes out in the video. Wow, she is beautiful. Grind my Insta360 camera into the ground or a mailbox. I got to be careful of that. Let me see if I can pull in here. I want to adjust my cameras. Maybe this person won't mind if I pull over here for a minute. Onto this gravel. Excuse me, Marauders, while I get off and reset some things for you. So if I just hit the function button, it will go back to the instrumentation cluster, and we're going to leave it like that for now. And I'm in a little bit of a disadvantage because my Insta360 camera is hitting my leg. I got to be careful with that. Off the gravel. Okay. We have all the cameras rolling. Nice screen up. I'm learning here, people. Apple CarPlay, Honda speedometer. So now I'm in drive, and we'll push this button in. I'm in manual mode, and I'll hit my thumb, and we'll downshift second and third. Click up into fourth, and we have full. Notice how fast the clicks are. Click 6, click 5th, click 4th, click 3rd. Very, very responsive. As quick as I could do it with a quick shifter. Now I'll put it back into sport mode where it's automatic shifting. I can see on the screen where I'm shifting, and I'm in sport automatic mode. She's very calm. I have a little more than a half tank. This thing does not get to use a lot of fuel. So I'm on one of my favorite routes. We'll click through this screen. I'm on the darker screen because somehow with the camera settings, with the light screen, it gets waves in it. And I've seen even Ian with Big Rock Moto. There's some real hard turns here. I want to be careful. Again, it's not my bike. Ian with Big Rock Moto, even he had some waves on his screen from his camera. And I'm in sport mode. I'm in user mode 2, which is a softer seat suspension mode. I'm going to use my thumb button. Turn trail brake a little bit here. She's just magnificent. Very, very nice. She's just magnificent. Come around here. Okay, user mode 1 is full power. Engine braking is full. Traction quarter is 3/4. ABS is on. That's what those items are at the bottom. Now, the suspension is on hard. Suspension, this all the way to the right, is on hard. That's where I tend to like it. See, this truck almost blew off the road here. He's making a right too. Listen, I hope you can hear that exhaust through this microphone. So user 1 and user 2 are custom mode. User 1 I have set up full power and the hardest suspension, and I tend to like that. So the throttle is very responsive. User 2 is full throttle, same setup except the softer suspension, which I like very much. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm blowing around on this video because the wind is that strong. And she is magnificent. I gotta watch I don't scrape my little stone or something here in the road. Scrape my 360 camera on the ground. I'm always trying to get that camera up higher and I never seem to make it high enough. And on the active suspension, semi-active suspension, again, it's in hard mode. It still has an amazing ride. Still has an amazing ride. I wouldn't say it is as good as my Ducati. I wouldn't say that at all. But it is excellent. It is excellent. She gets up and goes. Plenty, more than enough power. Now, one thing you have to be careful of on these automatic transmission bikes, see if there's any chickens. No chickens! One thing you have to be very careful, I'm going to stop here and get some pictures, is not goosing the throttle when you're stopping. And I'm going to put this in drive. Okay, we're back in drive. I want to get some pictures here of it on the bridge. This is my favorite picture stop. Oh, almost hit my camera and that. All right, so I'm going to stop here, put it in neutral, put the emergency brake on, shut her off. Oh, was that a... Marauders, most ADV owners do not ride their motorcycles off-road. I hope to be changing that in the near future for myself, and I work every day to get in shape to ride off-road. What I can tell you is I've ridden probably close to 50 motorcycles over the last year and a half. And whenever I get on a Honda, I'm so impressed with their technology and their quality. And this bike is another fine example from Honda of producing, engineering a motorcycle that is nothing but premium. I hope you're enjoying the video. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, sharing it with a friend. And please, if you're interested in a Honda motorcycle, side-by-side ATV snowblower, please see Hamburg Honda and talk to Cam or Dan. She went right to Apple CarPlay, which typically is what happens. Who's this nut with a camera hanging off his bike? Flashers are off, lights are on. We'll put her in drive now. We'll take her out of the real sensitive mode and leave her in drive. Takeoff is beautiful. I've raised the seat as high as it will go. The seating position is still, seating height is still lower than my Ducati or is still lower than my Ducati, or definitely lower than the Husqvarna Norden. That has the highest seating position with that off-road suspension. Just very, very high. Seating position, your butt, feet, hands, the rider triangle is, I think, outstanding. It's very good. Is as comfortable as any of my other adventure bikes. Maybe actually a little more comfortable than the Ducati. Very comfortable seating position. Power, I think it has adequate power for the road. It actually, I don't think is as fast as my Husqvarna Norden, and definitely not the Ducati, but I think it's the power is very respectable for this motorcycle. It's fine. I'll give up being as fast as a Husqvarna Norden 901 Expedition and the Ducati for this automatic transmission. It's that nice. So power is adequate. Transmission runs away with it, in my opinion. People, if you don't want an automatic transmission, a dual clutch transmission, an electric shift transmission, don't get one. If you're on the fence, go ride one. Go ride one. Seriously. I'll switch back to Apple CarPlay. Love it. I believe it will. And again, there's the goosing of that throttle you got to watch. when I'm hitting the brake, I'm goosing that throttle a little bit. That little goosing of the throttle, and I didn't do that purposely, it was with me using the handbrake. That's what you have to get used to on an automatic transmission bike. Is that goosing of the throttle. I believe the windshield is up all the way, so I caution you when you demo ride an automatic shift motorcycle, because I like to goose the throttle when I stop or before I pull it into my garage. You have to make sure it's in neutral, and when it's in drive, you cannot do that. I'm going to show you the mistake I made. I'm going to leave this in the video so you can see it. I did it just by grabbing the brake, so have to be careful with that. And I'm at a disadvantage because where my camera is mounted, I can't reach back. It's hard for me to reach back with my right foot on the foot peg because my camera extension is right there, my camera rod. Wind protection, I don't think it's as good as the Ducati, and the Ducati's not great. I don't think it's as good as the Ducati. I think it's slight, and the wind is beating me up with this wind today. Whoa, is she blowing me? I don't think it's as good as, I would say it's on par with the Husqvarna Norden, which is definitely better than the KTM 890 Adventure. So the wind protection is kind of in between the two bikes. This is adjustable. I'll show that in another video. Suspension wise, it's splitting hair between the suspension on the Ducati and this bike. I think the Ducati suspension is better ever so slightly. There's more adjustments in it. I think this suspension is very good on road, which this is the on-road version of the Africa Twin. On road, I think the suspension is better than the Husqvarna Norden 901. Actually, I think it's better, probably the best in this category. Maybe not the Pan America. Hear that, Harley? Let me have a Pan America for a while and test it. But this suspension is very good. So we did suspension, we did engine. By the way, it's November 5th, I believe. It's, no, 6th, is it 6th? November 5th, election day. It's 76 degrees in Western New York. Holy cripe, that's amazing. So I'm out riding. I actually may take this bike back and take my 990 Duke out for a ride. Couldn't get any better weather than this. So the suspension on the bike is fantastic. I love what's in the lighting. I don't usually talk about lighting. I will do a video on riding this at night. The lighting, I love that the front turn signals are on all the time for safety. Love it. You can see it, they're on. Tremendous feature having those lights on all the time. Big plus. Rear lighting is good. Controls, this is busy here. And it definitely takes some getting used to learn how this is functioning. More so than my Husqvarna Norden 901 or any of my KTM products, and probably the same for the Ducati. Definitely more involved getting to learn this cluster here. It's very busy. I'm sure it's doable once you get it, and the machine is learning. Both the machine and myself are learning, going through a learning process. By the way, downshifting, I'm in 6th gear, it's going to 5th. I got a stop sign up here. Let's pull off to the side. I'm going to pull off to the side, put my left foot down. I'm going to put it in neutral. I'm going to put the emergency brake on with one hand. Shebang. Let's make sure this is up all the way. So that's down. That's up all the way. We're up all the way. Okay, we're good. I'm going to put it back in drive. Take the emergency brake off. Turn on my turn signal, pull out on traffic. Easy peasy. Don't remember how that saying goes. Is it easy peasy? Nice and easy. Okay, not to goose the brake. Let's stop here and look. We're clear. Every shift is perfect with a dual clutch transmission. Every shift. Am I a pro? Makes me look like a pro, doesn't it? Every shift is perfect. Engine has a little bark. Again, this is in the hard suspension setting. There's some twisties on this road, and she eats it up like nothing. They're nice, they're easy curves, nice gradual curves. And the motorcycle is just fantastic. So, we're going to do a night video for lights. We did engine, transmission, rider seating position, wind protection. Let's talk about ease of use. Very easy to use this motorcycle. The electronics you have to get to know on any bike, but I think I'm calm driving it. I put it up there with a Can-Am Spyder, another semi-automatic transmission, and I've ridden this in wet conditions back from the dealership. It's safe. It has all the safety features you could want in a motorcycle except emergency stopping and warning, and adaptive cruise control and blind spot, which is on other bikes it's another $15,000 to get that. So I think on the automatic transmission, once you get used to, for me, not flipping the throttle. So I picked this up from Dan, Hamburg Honda. Again, big shout out to Hamburg Honda. Dan is the owner, and Cam is his salesperson for letting me take this bike. When I picked this up from his dealership, which is the largest Honda motorcycle dealership in New York State, I drove it to my office. It was on my way home. My brother heard the motorcycle, and then he wanted to ride it. He had to get on it. So as far as the exhaust system, I give it probably the best out of any motorcycle I have in stock, including the Harley. The exhaust system's excellent. The looks, I think it's a very nice looking bike. My brother loves the look of this bike. Loves it. He went gaga over it. He drove this bike and was so impressed with the transmission and the engine, of the looks on it. And it's a pearl white. It's not a flat white, it's a pearl white. He just went crazy for this bike. Really liked it. Now, when I'm riding later at night, this time of day, and I'm at this light, the sensor won't pick up the weight of the motorcycle, and I gotta tell cars to pull up so I can get on this weight sensor. Well, there's cars here, so I'm not gonna have to worry about it. So again, I'm gonna take my hand off the throttle and put my foot on the foot brake. So I'm in drive, but my right foot is on the foot brake, and my hand is off the throttle, so I won't have that temptation to goose it. Again, perfect clutching every time. Just perfect clutching. Perfect clutching every time. Oh, again, these sensors, I don't know if they'll pick me up. Think heavy, Peter. Think heavy. I'm right on the sensor now. Think heavy, baby. Heavy. Come on, see me so I can make a left turn. Oh, it's not giving me a green arrow. It didn't see me, and there's no cars behind me. Come on, baby. Interesting, up here, it's showing that it has my headset. That's why I can get the Apple CarPlay and Bluetooth are on. Flick. Bing, I'm there. Flick this button over here. This function button on the left, and I'm there. Back on that screen. We'll give you a little sporty takeoff in sport mode. And again, she's in sport mode. She's holding those gears a little longer. holding those gears a lot longer. She's in 4th gear. In drive, she'd be in 6th gear on this road. So she is just beauteous, just beauteous. This is a 25-mile-an-hour turn. You can see I'm doing it 48 miles an hour. No issues whatsoever. I'll trail brake a little bit. So I want to say in 1975, we can look up these dates, it's 75 or 76, I think 75, Honda came out. Of course, their Honda CB750 legendary inline 4 motorcycle was out for a couple years at that time. The CB750 was out for a couple years at that time, and they came out with an automatic. They came out with an automatic, a CB750. They called it a 750A motorcycle. And it was very nice, but they detuned the engine a little bit. The shifts were not that good. I'm not sure. I thought it almost had an automotive style, a much smaller automotive style transmission on it. It did not go over well. I think it didn't sell well. I think they had it for 2 years, and then Honda dropped it. And I remember when that motorcycle was out, I told my brother Pat I thought that was so neat. I was young at the time. He was 19. He says he'd see it, 750A, Honda CB750A, and they'd comment about it, how it was an automatic transmission and somewhat of a dog. And they would kind of poo-poo the bike, and I think most people did because it didn't sell well. Honda was, and I'm not talking scooters, because scooters with automatic transmissions I think have been out since World War II, frankly, after World War II. But prior to World War II, I think the CB750A, 1976, I think that was really the first shot at an automatic transmission motorcycle, was that bike. Marauders, I think I've covered, I'm going to put it back in drive, I think I've covered most everything on my initial thoughts on this motorcycle. If you're interested, one, Africa Twin, in many ways, for quality, it's the benchmark. I know that people are going to say the BMW GS 1250, 1200, now the BMW GS 1300 are the benchmark in adventure bikes. But this motorcycle is very good. Very good. And you should, certainly the quality probably surpasses those other brands. Let's go back to Apple CarPlay. I think you should definitely look at this motorcycle. I'll give you my final thoughts in another video. I, without a doubt, would highly recommend that you look at this motorcycle if you're looking at an adventure bike, a mid-size or a full-size adventure bike. Take a look at the Honda Africa Twin. It's an excellent motorcycle. Okay, Marauders, thank you. I'm going to shut my cameras down. Hope you see you on the trail. Take care and God bless you. And let's respect each other, especially around this election time. And let's hope things go, if there is there's definitely going to be a transition between presidents. Let's hope it goes smoothly. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Beautiful bike. Beautiful. Let's put it in, I almost revved that throttle. Let's put it in neutral. Great bike.